these engines are good. No, they're not. Come on, man. Get real. This thing's bad.
Junkyards. They are a place where cars are laid to rest and parts stripped to give others a second chance on the road. Without these establishments, the automotive industry would greatly suffer. So join me as I travel around and explore what these places have to offer. European cars are renowned for their complex engineering, sophisticated looks, and overall dynamics on the road. But with complex engineering comes complex problems, which in turn makes these cars expensive to fix and maintain. Unfortunately, many of these once $100,000 cars are left to rot at junkyards, as their repair bills far exceed their value.
We are back for yet another Wreckers Mish. This time we're at my favourite wreckers again, Harvey Wreckers. And we're focusing only on Euros. We're going to see what they have here. I thought last time when I was here, I looked at most of the cars, but obviously not. I missed a lot of them. Like this row of Land Rovers here. There's so many Discos and proper Range Rovers as well. I forget what these are called. Vogue, that's it. There's so many Discoveries here. Discovery here, and there's like another 5 down there. So these Discoveries, I don't know much about them, but I know that these are the last to come out with a solid front end. The ones after these came out with IFS and IRS as well. So these are kind of special. I mean, they're not that sought after because they're just so unreliable with this 3.9 litre Rover V8. But the TD5s are not too bad. They sound pretty cool as well.
A lot of them also came factory twin locked.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. We got a TD5 here. I used to work with a bloke at Audi and he was obsessed with these TD5s. He owned like 3 or 4 of them, and he told me a story that his last one didn't have any coolant in it, just had straight water, and it rusted through the block. Another cool thing on these is they only have 4 glow plugs. So when they cold start, they only start on 4 cylinders, and then when obviously the cylinder pressures get higher, the 5th cylinder starts firing, which is really odd. I don't know why it's like that. I'd never own one. I'll admire them from afar. I was only at Harvey's like probably 2 weeks ago, and it's like completely changed again. So this places onto their stock like really well. They're rotating it constantly, they're moving everything around. Like I'm pretty sure I walked into this aisle last time and none of this shit was here. This Falcon I think was on the back wall, like near the entrance. This isn't Euro, but this Tarago I've just noticed has an engine oil tank. Now as far as I'm aware, they're only used on cars with like dry sumps. I doubt this thing will be a dry sump. I don't know how that's supposed to work. Some idiot can easily just mix these around, put washer fluid in their engine oil in their washer fluid. How's that supposed to work? Can someone explain that to me if you are well versed in Taragos? Over here, we have a Mark V Golf. I love these things. One of my favorite cars I've ever driven is an R32 Golf. And I used to have an R36 Passat. We got shit injection. That was Peter's joke. But it means fuel stratified injection, which has something to do with combustion more efficient, so you can increase power and torque by up to 15% or some marketing bullshit like that. These are sort of the last VW that came with heaps of engine options. Like these came with like 1.6 litre NA, diesel, 2 litre NA, 1.4 litre twin charged, 2 litre turbo. We got Peter's favorite car here. Oh, here you go, the 1.6 NA. So many different engines for no reason. I don't know why. Look at the BMW 1 Series. If you guys don't know, these are rear-wheel drive hatchback. Now, one of my favorite cars is a M140i. The rear diff back there, you can't really see it that well, but I don't know why they chose to make these rear-wheel drive. I think it's just BMW being stubborn. The new ones are based on Mini Coopers, so although it's just a regular commuter car, it's pretty cool how these are rear-wheel drive. Oh, white shoes, tough. What?
This is the definition of they don't make them like they used to. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Perfect condition.
Mint.
And it has 400,000 Ks.
This is the Eastern European commuter car. Bobber kurva. Look, a Volvo. I know nothing about these cars. I like Volvos though. Let's see what it is. A V40 T4. I'm assuming it's a 4-cylinder. I'm so insightful. Still got glass headlights. Surely it's not that old.
98.
98. Wow, okay. Well, it's aged well. I thought it was like early 2000s. I wasn't far off, but I've only ever been in one Volvo and they have a smell. I want to see if this thing has the smell. Yeah, it's got the smell. Sweet, stinky leather smell.
Oh, yeah.
It's got that smell.
Yep.
None of the Audis have that. They have their own smell. They smell like old people. We've got two of the same car here. We got a Jetta and we got an 8P A3. They're the same car essentially. The newer ones, they are based on what they call the MQB platform, but these are the ones beforehand. But they still shared a lot of drivetrain components. So like if this thing still had a motor, it'd probably have something similar to this. But even the coolant bottle, they're the same design and they're in the same spot. Even the fuse boxes are in the same spot. Look at the interior in this. I don't think I've ever seen one in my whole time working at Audi. Red leather. I like all the names that Audi gave their head units, and BMW as well, like BMW Business CD and stuff. Audi had Audi Opera and Audi Symphony. What the fuck happened to this? It's like the tire exploded or something. What is this? Or it shredded the belt or something? Surely.
Yeah, that's gotta be drive belt.
Yeah. Gary, I used to have a Passat wagon just like this, except mine said R36 on the back, so I'm better. Funny story actually. When my ex and I first started seeing each other, her dad had a base model Passat. So whenever I'd come over to her dad's house, I'd park my R36 next to it and I'd mog him. I thought that was pretty funny. He probably couldn't give a f, but what the f is going on here? Or did it have a crash at 140 k's an hour? But all the materials are really nice. Peter was just saying they haven't aged very well, but they'd be so comfortable. Right?
Yeah, and look at how well this like bolster would hold you in the seat too.
And like even here, it's all suede here.
Have a look at this rear brake though.
Someone stole the brakes off a giant mountain bike. My dad bought me a Kmart bike in high school and they had bigger brakes than that. Citroen. You had to be a very peculiar person to buy a Saab back in the day, but they were very cool. The 9.3 turbos, even the 9000 turbos. It was one of the first cars to be mass produced with a turbo or something like that. Some weird fact like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. Some of these in America partnered with Subaru and they came out with EJs. How weird's that? Don't know why. I think they just tried everything in the books to stay alive back then. Alpha 159. Beautiful car, but unfortunately not the most reliable.
See, they made this cover so beautiful.
Yeah.
Then when you take it off.
Shit diesel engine. Oh man. What the f is this? Fiat. What even is this? Peter Jackson. That must be an old cigarette box.
Oh yeah.
That's really old.
No.
Bro, what the fuck? Donkey. I thought that Celica was bad from last time. Holy f, look at this thing. The whole rocker's gone out of it. Like, how long does a car need to sit here for to get to this stage? Can someone tell me what this is? It's like I think it's a Fiat 124 or some shit like that. It's pretty cool. I like these cars. Got another Fiat. I definitely don't know what this thing is. I'm not gonna even try and pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. I thought that Fiat was bad. Holy shit, look at this thing. This thing's bad. How does this even happen? Did someone take a plasma cutter here and try and cut it out? Brother, oh brother. There's even a motor in the back. How do you build a car like this and go, yep, this is gonna stand the test of time? It's very beautiful, briefly. Like, how does it get to this stage? Vauxhall, Astra, Opel, Astra, Holden Astra. You see a lot of these on the road. You'd expect these to be in a lot of these in junkyards. I mean, there are, but for some reason you see a lot of these driving around. A lot of P-platers.
A guy that I went to school with had one of these Astras on his red Ps and lost his license at 223 kilometers an hour in it.
223? Yeah. How does this thing even get up to that speed?
When the police came to his house and they saw the car that the offense was committed in, they were shocked.
Well, there you go. If you want to lose your license, Holden Astra. Anyway, guys, that's going to do today's Euro episode at Harvey Wreckers in Langwarrin. If you guys have any suggestions of what wreckers you want me to go to or what kind of cars you want me to try and find at the wreckers, leave it down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
I have a suggestion, all Ford video.